Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. And hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. We appreciate when you guys can come on and say hello. We love you dearly. Okay, let me see here. Who's going to come up number one on our roll this morning? Let's see. Okay, Andrea. Right at the top. Hi, Lisa. Lucille, good morning to you. Janice from Brampton, good morning. And let's see. Sandy, Chilliwack, British Columbia. Rosalinda from Niagara Falls. Madeleine, Kippawa, Quebec. Rosa, Montreal, Kevin, Oshawa. Carol, West Virginia, good morning. Barishan, Judy, New Brunswick, Lynn, Aurora, Heather, Miramichi, and Marla, good morning. And Karen from Peterborough, good morning to you. Hi, Sherry. I want to sing, Sherry. I want to sing. Cheryl, Wendy from Markham, and Fran from Orangeville. Annie. I was going to say Ann because that's the name that comes up, and then underneath it's Annie and Linda. How are you? Shelley, Alberta, Alice, Danny Lee in Iron Bridge, Ontario. Marines in Boca Raton, Florida. Good morning. Meta, Leamington, Donna, Newfoundland, Kristen, Saskatchewan, Elaine, St. John's, Newfoundland. Good morning to you out in Newfoundland. Sandy, Burgess Falls, Minnesota. Lise from Sudbury. Yvonne in Petawawa. Marlene in Porto Basque, Newfoundland. Wendy from Aylmer. And Yvette Shediak, Nouveau-Brunswick. Yolande, bonjour. I actually see your name, Yolande. Nativity. Wanda from Virginia. Catherine, Springdale, Newfoundland. And Brahim, where have you been all my life? Cindy and Luella, West Tennessee. And Nellie, hi Nellie. Dennis, Quinn, good morning from Alberta. Marilyn from Charlottetown, PEI. Francis from Vaughan. Brahim is saying he loves me. Well, I love you too, Brahim. Patricia from Pulaski, Tennessee. And Nancy from Houston, Millica. And Brahim is saying his Facebook is weird lately. Yeah, me too. Judy, Port Perry, Frida, Karen, hi, from Sault Ste. Marie. Laurie from Cambridge. Marl from Ottawa. Nice to have you on. Hi, Gwen. Hi, Carol. And everyone else, we love you. Okay, Edda. Okay, let's see. I had a couple of studies I want to look at. Okay, yesterday got asked, okay, just because I saw it up there, about this test from Norway. I guess you can get your levels tested, and it sounded like you order a kit from them, and then they can do it through dry blood or whatever they do. I'm not quite sure how they analyze it. I used to do all those tests in my office pretty well. And anyway, someone said, well, okay. Yeah, like, anyway, someone was saying, those tests are a waste of time. Look, generally, I mean, one of the tests that is very good, get it done. I mean, doctors won't do it unless you ask them for it, is your omega-3 levels. You can literally find out what your omega-3 levels are in your blood. It's a very good test. Okay? And there's a new study out on omega-3, and there's almost one every day, guys. So you're going to get a couple of hundred studies on omega-3 a year. And I just can't emphasize enough the importance of omega-3. Okay, but here's another one. Omega-3 has shown to be very anti-aging. Yep. Now, guys, you know I love omega-3. You know I love omega-3. I've been talking about omega-3 for a long time on this program. Okay? It's one of my go-tos. And especially DHA. Why? Because your brain's made up of DHA. Your eyeballs are made up of DHA. And DHA has been studied and studied. So it's very important. Now look, I love all omega-3. I really do. But DHA is very, very, it's the best of the omega-3. Okay? And they're saying in this study, omega-3 is very anti-aging. Well, as much as you can slow aging down, I mean, I can't slow it down completely, of course. I mean, some people believe that. I don't believe that. But it's a go-to. And, someone was saying, well, why get that stuff tested? Well, look, it's like your vitamin D. And that's another go-to. You can literally find out what your vitamin D levels are. I just had mine tested. Okay? And I got very good levels of vitamin D. But I'm not guessing, I test. And it's unfortunate that when you get a panel done, your blood work done, that they're not checking vitamin D. Not routinely anyways. And again, it's the mindset. Okay? It's a mindset. Like if you don't think vitamin D is one of the most important things you can test, well, who's going to test it? But your immune system doesn't work well without vitamin D. Vitamin D, sun, steak, and steel. I talk about the importance of vitamin D. From your brain to your heart to your immune system, it's anti-cancer, it's anti-aging, it's anti-everything. Vitamin D. And omega-3. Okay? And I really want to emphasize that because someone was saying, oh, well, you can get these tests done. I never heard of it before in Norway or something, and it's a kit, I think. You don't have to fly to Norway, I hope, to get it done. But I really like that. I mean, guys, it's sort of an investment, right? Like, a lot of people invest in the stock market. A lot of people invest in gold. A lot of people invest in, the new one is Bitcoin. Okay? I didn't even know what people were talking about with Bitcoin. Okay? You ask me, what do I know? I know nothing. Okay? I come from, my hometown was Timmins, Ontario. A mining town. They called it the town with the heart of gold because it was gold. And when I was a kid, gold was $35 an ounce. Today it's over what, 5,000 US dollars an ounce? And believe me, Timmins is booming. Because Timmins used to go like this, up and down as far as their economy. But gold. so you can invest in gold. Short story. Invest in your health, guys. Invest in your health. And I used to tell my patients all the time, look, you don't have to take 100 supplements, but there are some supplements. For example, if you live on planet Earth, you're going to be low in, probably. And that's vitamin D. You're going to be low in it. People walk around, they don't know because nobody tests them and nobody tells them how important that test is vitamin D. Yeah, vitamin D. Omega-3, really important. Look, B12, the reason, look, I want you to get your B12 tested. Like doctors they don't think about it so much because they don't know the importance of B12. It's been a lost vitamin. Vitamin B12 is a lost vitamin. What do I mean by that? Well, it used to be an important vitamin, even to physicians. I can tell you that in the 1950s, even a little bit into the 1960s, vitamin B12 was very important to almost every doctor. They were trained. And it was nothing for them to give you a B12 shot in the 1950s. Almost, you remember doctor bags? You ever see a doctor's bag anymore? I can't say I've seen one in the last 20, 25 years. But like my dad had a doctor's bag. I was fascinated. Had a stethoscope in it, a cuff and B12 shots. That was in the doctor's bag. One of my dad's friends was our family doctor. I remember him coming to our place, giving my mother a B12 shot. It's a lost art today. You think it's not important? It's very important. So guys, you don't have to supplement with a million things, but there are some things that I would tell you to invest in. Invest in your health. Invest in your health. It's worth it. Okay? It's worth it. Now, I wanted to talk to you about, let me see here. Okay, omega-3. And then, I read an article yesterday, so let me spend some time on this. And some of this is just repetition. You know me. I repeat, rinse and repeat. I do this a lot. But I read an article yesterday that gave me a migraine. Okay? Science is settled. That was the article. Science is settled. And they were being facetious. Because they were talking about the things that come through. For example, they talked about how the whole world went nuts on cholesterol. Okay? How it started. Well, I told you that story so many times with Ancel Keys. One man, one guy changed the trajectory of health in the whole world. One man. And anybody who questioned him, anyone who went against him, Ancel Keys was his name, who was on the cover of Time magazine. I studied Ancel Keys in the 1970s in my nutrition. He was a cholesterol maniac. But his influence changed the whole world. I told you the story about seeing the movie. If you get a chance, watch that movie, Pressure. It's brand new on D-Day. And the whole story is about the weather on D-Day. But it brought us back because one of the characters in the movie, true story, by the way, was who became the president of the United States, Eisenhower. When I was a little boy, he was president of the United States. I love history. Okay? I'm fascinated by history. So Eisenhower gets a heart attack, 1955. I was telling this story to my grandson. I went to the movies with my grandson. He still wants to be near his grandfather. I love it. And I'm a history buff, so I told him, Eisenhower, he didn't know this till after the movie, he became president of the United States. In 1955, he has a heart attack. And Ancel Keys, the media different back then than it was today. But Ancel Keys says, I know why he had a heart attack, because his cholesterol was high. Not because he was smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day. In the movie, he's always got a cigarette in his mouth. You know, like my dad. In the 1950s, my dad smoked 4 packs of Buckingham cigarettes. No filter. I like my mother's cigarettes better. It's almost funny, right? You know, my dad talking about health and he's got a cigarette in his mouth. Anyway, it was just normal those days. They honestly didn't know that smoking was bad for you. But cholesterol. Anyway, you guys know the story. And you read the backstory on Ancel Keys. He destroyed every scientist that went up against him. And then the food industry got involved. Kellogg's and others. Crisco, Procter & Gamble. And cholesterol was at the root of heart disease. One man on the cover of Time magazine in 1962 influenced the whole world. He did studies, cherry-picked the data, by the way. You know, that guy lived till he was 100 years old, Ancel Keys. Okay? I can't remember exactly what year he died in. I think in the 80s sometime. He lived in the Mediterranean after that, left the United States, lived in the Mediterranean, ate eggs, meat, and cheese. He didn't even listen to himself. Anyways. But here's the article. It was talking about another guy, Dr. Peter D'Adamo, D''Adamo. Okay? I met the guy. He wrote a book that sold 7 million copies. When he brought his book out, I met him because I wrote a book at the same time. Okay? I'm going to get my book out to show you the book that I wrote at the same time as Peter D'Adamo. I even think I have his book here. I kept it. Or did I? Oh. Yeah, I got it. I got it here. Hold on a minute. Okay? I'm going to show you 2 books. Peter D'Adamo's book, okay? Eat Right for Your Blood Type. He signed it for me. It's autographed to Dr. Tony Martin. I forgot I had it. Because I was reading this article yesterday and I forgot I had the book right on my bookshelf. Why? Because he autographed it for me. In Anaheim, California, we were both there presenting our new books. Guys, I've been around a long time. What year was that? Let me see. Let me see. 2000, okay? This is a new edition, I think, because I thought it was a little earlier than that. Anyway, we're both at a huge natural health conference in Anaheim, California. I spoke to, they had a big book launch, and I was part of it. He was doing his separate than mine, and his, believe you me. Okay, here's mine. It's not autographed. I kind of laugh at myself a little bit because there's the guy in the back of that book. But, okay, so here's the story, guys. We're both at a conference. I spoke first. Big audience. There's several hundred people there. Maybe 1,000 people. I can't remember exactly, but it was big. And I introduced my book. And by the way, in French, and I don't know, 3 or 4 editions, I think I sold about 50,000 copies, which is a big seller. You know how many books he sold, Peter D'Adamo? 7 million. And he got his face on the cover of Time magazine. He was on Oprah, not me. He was. Okay? I talked Steps to Fight Chronic Fatigue and Fibromyalgia, The Modern Woman's Curse. That was my book. I brought out a book. He brings out a book. He went big time. And I bet you I don't go more than a month. I get asked about eating for your blood type. I didn't buy it when he said it. Okay? And all due respect to him. When he signed my book, when he signed a copy of this, I got his signature here. I kind of laugh about it. Okay? He autographed it for me. Of course, I wanted to read it. I'm very curious. I'm open. You want to show me something? I'll read it. I'll study it. But I never liked, I'll tell you what I didn't like about it. It was going against everything that I believed in nutrition. Okay? And guys, not cholesterol or anything like that. He wasn't talking about that. He was talking about your blood type. So everybody has a different, blood type, and you got to eat for your blood type. Well, I never bought that because I can tell you, without exception, steak is good for everyone. Okay? Steak is good for everyone. Well, he said no, depending on what your blood type is. He went into evolution. And some people evolved with this blood type. Some people evolved with that blood type. Some people should be carnivores. Some people should live on plants. Whatever. I didn't buy it, guys, because in my background in nutrition, well, how are you going to get vitamin A? So when I read his book, I listened to his presentation. It was interesting. I admit it. He was a good speaker. But I know in my head, right out of the gate, I go, no, it can't. That's not true. I never told him that. Because I wasn't with him long enough to have a discussion. I think I gave him an autograph of my book. I'm sure I did. How do you like that? I wonder if he still has it. I doubt it. Anyways, guys, that's how long I've been around. But here's the point. The article said, it's amazing how one person can influence the world. Remember Dr. Fauci? Okay, he became famous through COVID. And you know me, I looked at that guy's face and I got a migraine. Okay? It wasn't just him, of course, but he was sort of the face, right? Okay? Got to wear a mask, got to be 6 feet apart, stay in, don't go out, don't go visit your grandma, whatever you do. You know what, guys? You know that because if you've been on my program or following me for any length of time, I was going nutsos because they weren't talking about you as an individual taking care of your own immune system. They closed the beaches in Florida, for heaven's sakes, over a virus. I was going crazy. The best thing you can do for yourself is take vitamin D and get in the sun. But anyway, the article. I sort of forgot that I had this book still. But 7 million copies. He was on Oprah. One guy with a new theory. Well, listen. I want to show you how I didn't influence the world. And I tried to. Okay? Was on chronic fatigue. And I was the guy who wrote about it. I probably did 250 interviews on radio and TV, at least. And like I said, I sold a lot of books at the time. And then I actually recycled that book. I got it on my wall over there. Energy Robbers and the Fatigue Cure. It was another edition. And I talked about energy. And anyway, isn't that interesting? But I tried to tell people that we have a problem with energy. And the problem way back when I wrote that book, was, you know what it was? Adrenals, cortisol. And then I wrote another book about it in 2011. I called it 2 Hormones That Want You Dead, on the 100th anniversary of the Martin Clinic in 2011. My son and I wrote a book. 2 Hormones That Want You Dead. Insulin and cortisol. I'll tell you what, guys. I was far more right than Dr. Dedama was. Far more right. About the importance of those hormones, cortisol, the stress hormone. And that's why we saw in the 80s even, women getting sick and dropping like flies with cortisol. Cortisol, everybody's got cortisol, but you don't want it to be high for a long period of time. Okay? So the whole world went nuts on what? Cholesterol? Eat right for your blood type? I was against cholesterol at being the root of heart disease. You can come with me back to the 70s, and I was against Ansel Keys. I didn't buy it. even though I had to study it. I'm glad I did, in a way. Oh, cholesterol is at the root of heart disease. Get rid of the butter. Don't eat red meat. And yada, yada, yada. It's been around a long time, guys. Been around a long time. Eating for your blood type. Okay? The virus. The whole world went nuts. And I was telling people, well, I don't know about you. I don't know about you. But you better take care of your immune system. Because you're always going to have viruses, guys. Okay? What did we have a couple of weeks ago? What was it called? The Hanta virus? Or like what? Well, yeah. Like there are people that are always going to try and close the world down. You leave public health officials with a virus and they go crazy. That's all they know. They study, oh, well, we should, you know what I mean? Everybody's got to be isolated and, you know. I read the other week, here we go again with Ebola or something. Holy smokes, guys. We're always going to have viruses come around. Always. Every season, there's going to be the flu. If you think the flu bug is going to take a year off, forget about it, guys. Isn't it amazing? I always say this. When does the flu come around? When does the flu come around? When people get out of the sun. Right? And in Florida, when they get the flu, it's because they stay out of the sun. Okay? And if you do get the flu, well, you get sick once in a while. It's not the end of the world. What are you going to do? Stop living? Build your immune system up. I've been consistent. The only mask you should wear is the mask to go to sleep with. So that the room is dark. Complete pitch black. Wear an invisible mask. Vitamin A. Steak. Sun, steak, and steel. Don't go steal stuff in a store. Get strong. Vitamin E, exercise. Get stronger. Anyway, okay. I forgot I even had this book. I haven't seen it. Did I make any notes in it? I can't remember. I usually go through books and make notes. Yeah, I got a few notes here. I didn't believe it. Okay, guys. Okay. You know what tomorrow is, eh? Q&A. Q&A, guys. Tomorrow. Always fun. Always fun. Okay? So send your questions in to info@martinclinic.com. Guys, have I told you lately I love you? Thanks for putting up with the rants, guys. I know I rant so much. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.